The adidas Nemeziz 19.1 and 0.1. I think anybody who's watched this channel for any period of time now knows that this is basically my favorite current line football boot on the market. I just really enjoy it. Do I think that it's the greatest football boot on the market? Do I think it's got the best tech? Do I think it performs in the best way possible? No. But is it the boot that I like the most, that fits me the best, and really kind of suits what I want from a football boot? Yes. So therefore, it's my favorite. And I've kind of been plugging away for quite some time to try and convince other people to give the Nemeziz a go. And it seems it's working somehow. Have you seen the number of pros that have switched from the Adidas X line into the Nemeziz? Like, it's glaringly obvious when you watch any game, the amount of extra Nemeziz that are on the pitch right now. How many players have switched, and why? What's up guys, I'm James, welcome to BootWizard Boot Reviews. We're getting dangerously close to the end of March and I haven't yet released a Nemeziz video in March, so hey, here it is. I couldn't go a whole month without dropping one, of course. If you're unfamiliar with the Adidas Nemeziz, where have you been? It's this boot here, the one that is famously worn by Lionel Messi and generally hasn't performed that well since it was released with the 17 range, the 17, 18, 19, none of them have done particularly well. The 19 Plus is a shocking boot, one I really don't like. 19.1, however, is a little bit special. So let's look at how many players have transferred in them and why I think they might have moved into the Nemeziz. Before we do that, please remember to like the video, get subscribed to the channel, and of course, head to patreon.com/bootwizard if you can support the channel. That's a great way to do so. You can also buy from the links down in the top pinned comment. That supports us as well. And just leave a comment. What do you think of the Nemeziz? And what do you think of this mass Nemeziz, well, party, the exodus from the X? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at all the players that have switched into an Adidas Nemeziz. Every single one of these players has gone from an Adidas X-Line boot into the Nemeziz. In most cases, they've gone from the X 19.1 into the X Ghosted and then into the Nemeziz, or they've gone straight from the X 19.1 into the Nemeziz, missing out the Ghosted 0.1 altogether. Now, there's a lot of names, so I'm going to cheat and I'm going to read them off my phone because I made a big list. Okay, here we go. Apologies when I pronounce half of these incorrectly. We've got James Rodriguez, Dan James, Luke Shaw, Kieran Tierney, Musa Sissoko, Jose Callejon, Edin Dzeko, Serge Gnabry, Julian Draxler, Gravenberch over at Ajax, Chicharito, the little P, Javier Hernandez, Sarabia, Rafinha, Zakaria, Thauvin, Herrera, Moreno. Who else we got? We got Bakker, we've got Henriks. There's so many. Maximovic, Campbell, Sanusi, they all have switched from the Adidas X-Line boots into the Nemeziz boots, and that was just me doing a bit of research into Premier League and Champions League players who have made that switch. I am sure there are many, many more. This seems to be a big thing where players are basically avoiding the Adidas X Ghosted line. They don't want to go into that boot. Why? For starters, as is standard with pros, they're not going into the X Ghosted Plus at all. They're all tending to be going into the Ghosted 0.1, simply because pros like laces, they like customization, they don't tend to like the laceless boots, and I can completely understand why. So why are pros that were happy in the X 19.1 not going into the X Ghosted 0.1 and instead switching into the Nemeziz? Well, firstly, they're not staying in the X 19.1 because they can't. They're mainly under contract with Adidas, Adidas will state they have to wear a current mainline boot, and the X 19.1 is no longer that, so it's no longer an option. There are, of course, a lot of pros who get their boots kind of custom made, but this doesn't apply to every single pro, and sometimes they just get mild customizations and little things here and there. And what you might find is that it's a lot more difficult for Adidas to actually customize boots to the specifications of pro players when you're talking about the X Ghosted. Just because of the way that the upper's constructed, the boot is made, there's far less margin for error or for playing around with the boots in the X Ghosted than there would be in something like the mesh upper of the X 19.1. Could Adidas make a whole upper that looks like the X Ghosted but actually performs in exactly the way that the player wants? Well, yes, I'm absolutely sure they could, and I'm sure they could disguise some boots to look like other boots, a la Gareth Bale, but a lot of these players that I've mentioned, they are not the very, very top-end Adidas athletes, so Adidas don't really feel the need to do so as long as they have them in an Adidas boot. So it's much easier for them to go into the Nemeziz and then get fully customized uppers on the brand new X Ghosted. That's the upper. What about the outsole? Why wouldn't they want this outsole that I've been absolutely raving about since the boots were released? My God, this is amazing. Well, if you check out some of the reviews I've done on pro issue boots, you can do that by clicking up in the corner, a lot of pros really prioritize comfort over anything else. And maybe they're not getting that out of this outsole combined with this upper, despite the fact that it is super, super responsive. You'll also notice if you head to somewhere like BC Boots and check out their range of pro issue boots, pro custom boots that they have on their website, they're all match worn. A lot of pros go for a custom sole plate, and that custom sole plate is very frequently conical studs. So many Nike athletes are still using the older Tiempo sole plate because they like the way that feels. The more aggressive traction sometimes isn't for pro players. So maybe this isn't such a big deal for them, and they're not singing and dancing about it like I am. Then, of course, there is a chance that Adidas have just tried to move more people into the Nemeziz in order to give it a push. However, with rumors rife that Adidas are looking to kill off the Nemeziz line sometime this summer, I find that to be unlikely, because I don't see Adidas trying to push this boot any more than they already have just towards the end of its lifetime, when realistically the X is their biggest line. It's the boot that they have that most of their players are in. So why would they not want to push this as much as possible? I think when it comes down to it, the lack of customization options, the fact that maybe it's a bit less comfortable, and the fact that players really can get something that's more what they want on the Adidas Nemeziz is the driving factor. And then on top of that, if you do consider that the Nemeziz was also built originally on the same last as the Adidas X19, that might play a part in swaying people over to the Nemeziz. As I say, yes, a lot of players are getting custom built boots on custom lasts, but not every single player is getting that. If you look at the boots that I reviewed that belonged to Oliver Norwood, those were not custom lasted boots. They were just a standard release boot, the same you and I could buy, with a couple of added elements such as some slightly edited heel padding, and that was about it, to be honest. So maybe they're getting what they want out of this rather than the more extreme version of this, which completely vindicates me. The Nemeziz is the best boot in the world. Everyone should go out and buy Adidas Nemeziz. Maybe? Too far. Too far. I'll rein it back in. Just something interesting I had observed with the Nemeziz seemingly becoming more and more prevalent on your TV during the Premier League and Champions League nights, and I thought it was definitely worth bringing up, especially when the X is such a big deal. What do you think the reasons are? Why do you think players are switching over to the Nemeziz instead of using the X? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to hit that like button and get subscribed to the channel in order to pick up all my future content, including videos like this and, of course, reviews of all of these lovely boots. If you can support us, head to patreon.com/BootWizard. It is greatly appreciated. That's all from me here today. Have a good one. I will see you soon.